Welcome back to FloTrack, everyone. Kevin Sully here with Carl Lewis. Here to do another race breakdown. Carl, today we're going to be looking at a Continental Tour meet from Hungary, 200, featuring Kenny Bednarek, Andre De Grasse, and Erriyon Knighton. I'm just going to hit play, and you can talk us through it.
Well, the same thing, just like we talked about before, is you want to push and create momentum and come up through the turn. And so what usually happens is that if you watch right here, De Grasse is behind, Kenny Bednarek is just inside him. And the thing is, what he's done, he runs off the turn really well. That's what I saw him all summer long. And right there, he did it again this time. You see the difference if you go back just a little bit? You see where he is. About 30 meters there. We talked about the last 20 to first 10. And right there, he did a really good job of staying in the turn and running off the turn into the straightaway. And the thing is, right there, De Grasse comes back, but it looks like to me, that's more of experience and possibly jet lag or something, because I thought Kenny ran a really good race there. He just got tired at the end. And so the thing is that you've got to get used to running these tours and running these races and competing all around the world. And De Grasse obviously has a lot of experience at that. And that looked like more experience to me because I thought Kenny ran a better race.
I noticed something when we rewatched the replay here with Erriyon Knighton on the outside. Obviously, when you talk about experience, totally new. This was his first time in Europe, but he's out here on the outside. I noticed his head completely up. Meanwhile, the guys to his inside still down. Is that just a matter of preference? Is that something with experience?
Well, if you see, De Grasse looking down a little bit, but Kenny's up. These guys are up except for the guy right here inside of him. And so if you look at it, he's just pushing. And I think he's pushing right here well. Also, Richards on the outside is down as well. And you can look at the lean. If you look at what's going on, you want to try to lean in the turn. And the objective is not to turn your head to look around. It's to look straight ahead and allow your body to lean like you would be on a motorcycle or something. That's the one running the turn the best. As you see right there, and this is the whole thing. As you can see right there, Knighton's fighting in there. He's actually coming on really well. And here again, it's back to it's going to be a little bit easier. He's a big kid. I mean, he's a tall kid. But if you see the difference right there, is that Kenny just looks a little bit more tired. And you see him starting to lean there because that's what happens oftentimes when you're tired. You need to stay tall. You see how De Grasse is tall. He's still keeping the arm stroked, and that was the difference in that race.
Both guys have been successful at multiple sprint distances. Kenny, I remember, ran some really good 400s during his time at JUCO. Where do you see when you analyze a sprinter, do you look at this would be their best event or that would be their best event, or are you looking more at the entire package?
Well, what I do is I always say, what is your favorite event? I mean, that's really what it's about because that's the one you're going to own. So it looks to me that Kenny's favorite event's the 200 meters. He'll run some 100 meters sometime. He'll run 400. But I think you own that one, and then the rest come. You own one. I mean, I was a long jumper, period. And when I long jump well, the sprints were easy. And when I sprinted well, it made the long jump better. So I think it just comes down to him. It seems that his preference is a 200. He's had his most success there. So I don't really look at the total thing. I look at when it comes down to what's your event and how well you do in it.
And with Erriyon Knighton, very young, very early on in his career, you were good at a very early age. What's the biggest learning that takes place from teen years into early 20s?
Well, the biggest thing is not rushing your age. If you look at the sport like football, I think it's a perfect example. You can have success at a young age. It's happened so many years. Like you said, I had some success. If you look 4 years ago, they had great success in the 200 meters with high school kids. Dwayne Evans got a gold medal way back in the 70s. So it's happened many, many times. But the biggest thing is not rushing the life side of it because you're still a teenager. And you have to make sure you balance your competition with your teenage years. Still put your age first, and I think you can have success. Another thing, too, is that when you're at a young age, most of the time you're running in regular meets, and then you get down to championship season, you have a great season. Well, if you're 18, just like a football player, it's going to be very difficult for a football player to go from high school to the NFL. It's just too much. They're too much pounding. They're much bigger and stronger. Well, you have to be careful as a high schooler because now all of a sudden, instead of running 5 hard races a year, you're running every hard race a year.
Right.
And that's where I think people lose their perspective. It's not that you're not good, and not that he can't be great. He's a phenomenal athlete. But you have to still take your time because you're still 18 or 19 years old. That's the important thing. So I hope he doesn't run too much in big races. He's able to run some age group races if he can, or not age group, but high school or college races where it's competitive, where he doesn't have to kill himself every week, because you are physically not as strong at 18 or 19 as you will be 21, 22.
200 is definitely going to be one of the events to watch as we go into 2022. A lot of big names, America and internationally. Thanks a lot, Carl. Appreciate it.
Okay, great.